Last time I ended the episode getting the soul that allowed me to walk underwater from death itself, which seems like kind of an unimpressive upgrade to get from cursing the world with immortality. Usually death is more of an endgame enemy, but, well, I don't know. Let's test it out here. Clearly the next area I need to go to. Maybe it'll be more impressive than I expected. Okay, that's not actually what the Skull of Soul does. That was the Manticore Soul. I just wanted to have something that looked really cool going in here, because otherwise, yeah, hey, I walk underwater. Who cares? And now that I've gotten 60% of the souls that exist in the game, there are some of the cool transformation ones that have started to become a part of my repertoire as well. Transforming into a demon is maybe my favorite looking one, but there's also another one that I got from the curly enemy. I was talking about this a little bit earlier, which allows you to get another like big slashing type of ability. And then one that I got from the devil, maybe, well, look at that guy. Maybe not as good as the rest of them. But yeah, I mean, even though I don't know how effective those things really are, you do kind of need a large area, and they are real drains on your mana. They sure do look really cool. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that I got. The Great Sword, for example, was from the Tower Knight type of boss turned enemy that I fought last time. I'll continue equipping up all the new stuff just to kind of get an idea of what that's all like, though. Hey, ice might be good against water enemies. I honestly don't know. If you're in the water, would you be resistant to ice or weak to ice? I mean, I know that in real life, if something freezes, it's pretty much done for, but, you know, this ain't exactly real life. So, yeah. Also, switch out the Lucky Charm for, I don't know, Black Belt? Black Belt. Also got a couple of other interesting items from the curly enemies, the Skull Necklace and Flame Necklace, but not going to be equipping those up right now. It seems like the Black Belt probably is my best bet, so yeah. I mean, after all, curly, by the way, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Kali. It's gotta be, because what sort of name for an enemy is curly? And it definitely, otherwise, especially when you're using the soul itself, it has that sort of, like a similar look. But then again, who knows? You know how I've said before that it's like, hey, Castlevania does have a pretty great legacy of perhaps not accurate translations, and it's not like it quite stopped in 2003. I think at this point they were definitely getting a lot better, but I think about, like, as somebody mentioned last time, that I wasn't actually thinking of Dracula's guest quarters. Ooh, here's a good usage for this. I wasn't thinking of Dracula's guest quarters. I was thinking of Count Orlok's quarters in Count Olrock's quarters in Symphony of the Night, and the demon guest house was in Dawn of Sorrow, which, like I said, it does kind of run together for me. So yeah. And yeah, that's another great example of weird translation stuff, because Olrock's, it should be Orlok, basically, because that's another classic horror movie reference, Count Orlok, of course, being Nosferatu. And that's, it's pretty obvious when you say it like that, but for some reason it got the name Olrox. And that's just, well, I mean, that's like the official name that it is now. Just how it is. Well, anyway. It's so weird to think that these days translations, are like something sacred, and I'd like to say that, oh, good. This is where you are now. You can farm up this guy's soul. Yeah, it's like, and people are gonna like make a real attempt to do it right every single time. But back in the day, it just felt like you would hand it over to Joe in the mailroom for $5 extra in his paycheck that week, and there's how you got your script written. Like, man, oh, I probably would have liked that armor. Well, then again, the ninja outfit has still been serving me very well up until this point. I did get the bomber ability, but yeah, it's like translations. They've gotten so much better, but it took really until like what the PS3, 360 era for things to truly, like, for very obvious mistakes to not just kind of slip through anyway. Then again, I'm thinking about it, and, you know, I have been playing, like, a lobotomy corporation quite a bit, and that famously has employees bringing bottles of bear into the office, so don't say that it doesn't happen. It's just, I would say it doesn't quite happen as much. And then there are always those things where sometimes stuff that you think are just weird translations are in fact actually accurate. My first thought on that is always the Koopalings from Super Mario Brothers, where you think it's like, did they really? There is no way that Nintendo back in like 1985 or whatever was naming one of the Koopalings after Roy Orbison, and then you find out, no, they totally did do that. The Koopalings are in fact very accurate translations, so I suppose that is on Nintendo's head. Oh, or Zelda 2 with error and bug, where when you see that guy say, "I am error," you think this cannot be correct. Nope. Actual guy's name. That's just, blame it on Nintendo. Because it's supposed to be like error and bug. Now, you might say, that still sounds super weird, but... And you'd be right. But, hey, you can't blame, like, the localization team for that. You've probably seen occasionally that thing kind of like dashing across the sky around here. That's another one of those special enemies, kind of like the Tsuchinoko that I had found after the original Rock Golem fight earlier. Which it's, there's a couple enemies in these games, even continuing on into like Bloodstained, where there were some enemies that exist to be kind of like more gimmicky type of things, ones that you not really... Here, let's see if I can find it. No, it's not here. Oh, no, there it was. Like, yeah, you might remember a rabbit enemy that stopped time. Well, it held a watch up to me. Oh. Yeah, I'll say he's got a red power glow, and Dracula's trademark ability to teleport everywhere. So that's going to be a problem. Should have probably stopped him when he still had to run around everywhere. Nah, that's cool. She's fine. Genya! A little bit late. But hey, nice of you to show up and start vibrating rapidly. Probably not supposed to look like that. Now, this portrait does make it look like Genya's legs are on top of a very, very large soma. You know, if he just moved his portrait over a little bit to the left, it would also look like that for him. Also, Mina's here. Don't forget about that. You're a loose cannon cop, Genya. But damn if I can't respect you. All right. More twists coming up here. And also more of these kind of recolor enemies. Well, at least I can kill them in more than like 5 hits like I had to do last time. Really would like to have the peeping eye equipped up again, but I really do need the ability to walk underwater. And I should be fighting every one of these things I possibly can. If they're very easy to kill, you haven't seen a whole lot of the grinding process right now, but usually if an enemy is very easy to kill, it will take a long time. Its soul drop is very rare. Like, for example, Persephone took, like, God, 15 straight minutes of killing her until she was able to finally drop the thing, and I'm thinking like Needles, Fish Head, probably gonna be the same thing. Kind of frustrating like that. But then again, there are other stuff like the Mandragora, which I suppose I can probably equip up right now. Which there was only one of those in the flying, Beam Skeleton. Another weird translation used to known in other games as Nova Skeletons. But yeah, Mandragora, there was only one of these guys in the Flying Gardens, and that still took a very long time to get. Especially because it's like a gimmicky thing where you have to attack it after it's been pulled out of the ground, but before it explodes. Well, it is like a screen clearer, so it's kind of worth it. But there's also real mana hog. I mean, a lot of the good stuff, as you know, real mana hogs. It's 29 HP, the best I got right now. Well, maybe also using one of the mind ups just to make sure that I can take out this gargoyle. I'm not as worried about like the other enemies around here, but the gargoyles are kind of hard to hit with the weapon I'm using right now. And really just about any weapon. That swooping around, if you can't take them out in one hit, is not easy. Please be a save point. Close enough? I'm going to say that's basically a save point. Weirdly enough, usually with the teleporters, you have at least one that's like right next to a save point, usually like right across the room from that. Not so much the case here. I don't know. But yeah, despite the fact that some things were harder grinds than others, I do now have like 60% of the souls in the entire game. Because I got everything, baby. Look at them. Proven to exist by Soma Cruz in 2035. I mean, proven to exist in Dracula's castle. I don't know if that's quite the same thing. That's like there's a lot of things that otherwise don't exist anywhere that are here in Dracula's castle. Dracula, of course, it's like she basically has full dominion over the things that appear in the castle. Portrait of Ruin even took the abilities and powers of death to kind of to transform into Deathacula. That's not what they called it in the game, but it is what I called it in my headcanon. So, you know, that's kind of his whole thing. It's a whole weird deal where it's like Dracula's castle and Dracula might be separate, but they're also kind of the same dudes. Like, Dracula's castle is almost more of an extension of him, which is, I guess, why you can kill Dracula and then he revives after such amount of time, but then Dracula's castle has to be sealed away because, you know, it's just like a secondary repository for his power or something. Man, these Nova Skeletons. I thought something glitched out there for a second. That was just a level. Okay, Mandragora, doing good work. I mean, it's not something that I would say is Skullmion? What a strange name for an enemy. Not really something that I would say is like the most effective. It's very, very mana. That's another ability that I got from a Kicker Skeleton, I think it was called. It's just a Kamen Rider reference, but you know, can do this. The only enemy in the game, as far as I know, that actually gives you a ability soul. That was also another one that was in kind of one of the more obscure parts of the Flying Garden that I didn't actually see when I was going through it for the first time. Oh, don't worry. We will eventually see that, because that does also include other areas, which as soon as I saw that, I remembered very well. But for right now, it's like the true identity will remain a mystery. Don't want to go into a boss room just yet. These might not be boss rooms. I mean, obviously they have their own sort of look to them, but oh man, D-pads adorning the walls. That room is obviously owned by a gamer. Also, you know, all of the Nova Skeletons. I'm not really thrilled about seeing those guys either. Oh, come on. You sure you don't... Oh boy, I am really running out of... I hope there is a save point directly across the hall here, because otherwise there's going to be issues. Perfect. Yeah, even with all the powers that I have, I'm still kind of faltering in front of some of these enemies now, aren't I? That said, hey, we get the great little Mandragora doing his thing around here. In Dawn of Sorrow, it was more of just like a bomb that you threw out for pretty good damage. Here, this is a very classic Castlevania type of enemy. The giant bat, the very first boss. That's a good fake out. I like that. I like how that boss starts a lot. The boss itself, I don't know about that, but maybe probably shouldn't be using the Mandragora. I do have hot curry. No, we're not doing that. The whole gimmick behind that thing does not actually work against bosses anyway, so... Alright, gotta make sure that I am actually, like, ducking some of this, because I don't have a lot of healing or anything. Yeah. Giant hand bosses, as you know. Well, here, you know, before I go and fight the boss, maybe I'll do a little bit of exploring around. There's certainly a lot of areas around here that I have yet to really see all of. Man, that thing blocks lightning? What is that shield made of? How can I get one? Anyway. Yeah, certainly it's like I do know exactly where the boss is, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I need to go fight it. Also, I mean, especially with an RPG type of aspect, I was finding it kind of frustrating whenever you got that sort of thing in a game, because you kind of have to question, it's like, well, what level should I be at? Because I usually tend to be either way too low of a level or way too high of a level by the time I get to these areas. Will you just go down? How much health do you guys have at this point? Maybe it is the weapon itself. Go switch over back to this one, but at least no enemies are going to be like strong against it. Or we're gonna use up this. Why not? What does this do? Enchanted Sword of Fire. Sure. Do a little bit more effective against these beasties. I mean, certainly it's better. And I did go and get a few high potions to not die quite as poorly, but you know, it's still something that only does so much against the sort of incredible foes that I am fighting now. Even with all this lightning, it's not quite enough to take down some of the tougher dudes around here. I do think I am kind of like getting to the end here, it seems. Oh, man. I suppose maybe I should, like... No, that'll work. Yeah, that'll do it. Never mind, then. I was thinking maybe switch out for, like, a larger area that I'm hitting around here while I'm in this room, just to check. Just like, because I'm just going to be falling down here otherwise. Do a quick check. Anything to hit? No. Then I'll switch back to Headhunter, giving me some pretty hefty bonus stats. So I think it's definitely the one that I'm going to want to use otherwise as I'm exploring around. Man. Larger areas, I guess, but larger area hit would be the one thing that would really work out, but I don't know. Let's take a look above this area and see if I can't find anything. That's kind of the other major area that I have yet to hit, or I guess not. Never mind. Well, I suppose the other major area that I have yet to hit is just directly to the right here. There are 3 of those individual parts that contain a lot of one type of enemy, which, yeah, oh boy, am I really looking forward to fighting. But hey, I suppose it's kinda, you gotta do what you gotta do. That really wasn't enough. Nor was that, somehow. And you also got statues that kick you in the background. Very silly looking, but hey, just doing their jobs, I suppose. All right. Good, and man, this is with all of the like soul grinding. I do think that maybe it was a good idea to not be on hard mode like this. Otherwise, it would be very frustrating to kind of deal with this level of enemies that exist right now. I mean, this looks like... kind of looks like a basic sort of back and forth type of puzzle. But it's certainly not doing anything right now. Maybe if I got out like a more of an appropriate type of ability, let's say using a hammer, or certainly something in my souls has got to be like a big like some sort of big hit. Like, I don't know, I guess, but for right now, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything with that. Or at least I don't want to spend the time to try to figure out what I can do with that, because it'll take way too long. There we go. Or maybe it won't actually take too long. Whatever, it's fine. Oh, hey, speaking of old rocks, for some reason they decided to stick with that weird translation after I was making fun of it so much. That's unusual. Oh, I suppose I should see. Peeping Eye, you got anything to say in here? Nah, not so much. All right. Well, hey, I mean, now you know that I wasn't making that up or anything. They really did call Count Orlok Count Olrox. Weird. I mean, I guess it is kind of like a more unique identity, but, you know, it's like I would rather have the more accurate translation, but that's always how I feel, of course. You ever seen like the Persona series on the channel? There we go. You ever seen like the Persona series on the channel? I always kind of come down with like, hey, what's the like super accurate translation versus the localization? Very fascinated by that sort of thing. But yeah, it's still here. There's another type of thing about that I always think with Wild Arms, where they called a homunculus a holm cross. Which, I mean, you know, loan words from Japanese and the transliterations you get with that can sometimes take many different forms. But, oh boy, this is going to be fun. So, you know, you can't exactly blame... push that button. World, you're holding back. I mean, it's just me being pedantic, really. But I mean, also, me being pedantic about something? What? No, never. Man, let's get out them high potions and put them to work. These I remember even like the first couple times I was playing the game. It's like, man, these are some annoying sections. But hey, apparently you get some good stuff for doing them, so I guess I can't be too mad now, can I? Where is this? Legendary Sword of the Dragon Slayer. Yeah, look at that thing. God, those Valkyries. It's like if you don't kill them like the second you enter the room, they become so much more difficult to fight. There we are. I suppose it's not quite a room clear, but it gets very close. It's the closest thing that you can get to being a room clear. Man. These high demons, similarly. That might be one that I hold off on getting a soul from for a while, just because, oh boy, oh boy. And at the end of the episode, I am going to be showing off all of the new souls that I've gotten and everything like that, just because somebody did ask about that. If I could just do like a big showcase of that instead of like trying to use them during the run. Because I think that, I mean, first off, I should be showing off a lot of the stuff as it is anyway. And I think maybe just like do it at the end of the episode, sort of in the style that I would do a lot of things in Crosscode, for example. Which I always say that it's like, hey, I have kind of said that that's like the standard for which I'm doing a lot of LP stuff now. There we are. Well, there we are, except I don't know. I suppose there was that one platform way... Hey, nice. I'll take that, sure. Maybe a little bit better than Mandragora. There was that one platform very, very far back at the beginning of this area that might, say, hold the mysteries as to, with like the D-pads and everything around here, as to what I'm actually supposed to be doing. Because I don't remember. All this stuff does seem to be like gimmicky sort of deal. Oh. Huh? Oh, it's this sort of game. Hence why I got... yeah, okay, this is cute. Sure. Yeah, I didn't remember this at all. And finally... What? What do you mean that wasn't good enough? That was fine. I don't know why that didn't work the first time. Anyway, one last item here, and then I guess I'm gonna go fight the boss proper. Rare ring. What does this thing do? Well, that's not... I mean, I guess, yeah, you do get extra luck and everything out of it, but I would rather have stuff that would be good for, you know, fighting. Kind of need those fighting abilities right now. And do I still have the Peeping Eye? I do. We switch that back up, the Headhunter, and then I guess, yeah, we'll see what's up with the boss. I only have like a couple more healing items after that entire adventure, but hey, it should be good enough, right? Right? Hey, if it's not, yeah, I'll just go back and I will, buy some more. Especially with the Tsuchinoko, which gives you a discount on shops. That'll be pretty nice. Also, by the way, I have like speed up mapped to my spacebar button, and I'm occasionally hitting that, so you get stuff like this. Yeah, should probably not have that on here. It was mostly for when I was playing Golden Sun. This has been a boss in plenty of other games. Just not this one. No, you really can't stand in the middle of that. Oh, come on now. Also, there's like huge knockback whenever you get like touched by the hands, which I'm sure as you can see is kind of rough to deal with. And I mean, I'm like doing... It seems like I should be doing okay, but man, this guy is really... The hitbox is weird. Alright, so Beam Skeleton is clearly not going to be nearly as good as the Lightning Doll. And we get phase 2 with this whole deal, which is pretty great. Unfortunately, not great for me surviving-wise. Yeah, I'm actually like doing okay as far as dodging this. It's like, but man, it gets really fast. There we go. Nailed it. Packs a deadly punch. That seems like the sort of thing I was thinking of when I was trying to figure out how to use the Wrecking Ball, but it was much easier than that, as it turns out. Didn't need nearly that amount of gimmickry there. And that's a pretty good soul. Unfortunately, it's still an actual soul, so I can't go and use all the cool, like, No? Gasp. Because you can't have a Castlevania game without one of the Belmonts. Wait, he knew who you were? You'd think you'd have at least somebody who would remind you who you were 36 years ago, but I guess not. Only guys like Graham. The whip. All right, so you finally get to see the latest in the Belmont line, and I guess the last, really, because after, you know, Dracula's dead, it's like, why would he need to be hanging around here? I mean, in fact, you don't even have, like, the whole vampire killer, which is supposed to be only wielded by the Belmonts, and if other people do that, it's not good. Not that that stopped you from being able to use it in Portrait of Ruin. It didn't seem to be that bad. Well, anyway. Yeah, I was saying that it's like the ability to transform into a bat, pretty cool. Also going to limit my ability to, like, use all the other cool transformation type of stuff. Oh, well. I guess Kali is not going to be showing up too much right now. Maybe a little bit later on when I'm in areas that don't necessarily require it, but that might be a while till that happens again. Man, it's surprising. It's weird to see that enemies can just take a full lightning bolt to the face and survive that. Few things were able to do that prior to this point. Do like that bat sprite. Does still use mana, so can't be too, you can't use it too much after all. Oh man, an improved version of the first boss of the game. Still has yet to attack me. Well, had yet to attack me. And there's nothing in here. Really? It's just for the giant skeleton? Alright then. About okay, I suppose. Oh, well, in the meantime, maybe I'll throw on the peeping eye. just saying, because... Come on. Was that really all that was over here? Yeah, that was. Well, you know, I was saying that it's just like, hey, I'll do a little bit more exploration around. I guess not. Well, here, let's get some of the other areas before I go all the way up into the top floor right now. Because that is the... Hey, nice. That is the obvious area that I should be going to, but there's still plenty of stuff to check out down here. There's also one very special area over in the arena that I almost forgot to say anything about, but here it is. Come on now. If only... There really should be, like, more passive abilities. Stuff like, you know, turn into a bat if you just press R, you know, the backdash ability, when you are in midair, or, you know, just automatically walk underwater rather than being something you gotta equip up. Because it's kind of annoying to actually use. There are better things that I would like to have equipped up for that. Maybe I can still get the soul from one of these things. It'd be pretty nice. I don't know, probably not. Is this Sticky Keys? Jesus Christ. Hey, guess what? We're going, because of how I have to capture this, you're going to see me turn off Sticky Keys. That's right.
Always scan this section.
Okay, anyway. Yeah, we good? Are Sticky Keys off? Okay, great, cool. Because for select, I use right shift. Why does it do that? You can't use right shift either. We here at Microsoft need right shift. We keep beeping at you and you don't pay attention to it. Hey, it's me, Steve Ballmer, here to tell you again, stop using your shift keys. Hey, boats. Well, anyway, man. I don't know why. Somebody told me in the first video, it's just like, oh, well, just use a gamepad, that'll fix it. Why would I use a gamepad if I'm playing this on the computer? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to do that? Why would you ever want to use a gamepad for anything, really? Okay, and then there's just the alternate way to get into the underwater area, I suppose. Alright, good, but there is like a little bit more stuff that I want to be exploring, so I'm gonna go check that out and then, yeah, continue back on to the top floor. Man, this area goes around over a little bit farther than I thought it would. Oh, well, yeah, I thought there was only going to be like one room to this side, but nah, not so much. Oh, well. I suppose that means that, hey, that just means there's more stuff over here for me, after all. You know, like big bags of money. Not that I really care too much about money right now. I'm sure through all of my trials getting all the souls, I can just sell a lot of the extra rare items and the like that I've gotten to get more than enough to afford just about anything. Also, hey, is that the first super potion I got? Potion that's greater than great, it's super. Restores all of your health. But, you know, it's not like it makes too much of a difference. Aside from the fact that it's like, I guess you can only hold so many regular potions, and then you got to start filling it out with other weird healing stuff, like big old plates of meat. As you do, really. Well, this looks like a peeping eye type of thing, but there it is. But like, yeah, the fact that I have to keep continuously switching these sort of things out is kind of frustrating otherwise. Because otherwise, why would this be down here? Osafune, what do you got? Is this something that I'm going to finally have to replace my other weapon? Yeah, sure. Looking real Terraria-esque, though, with that animation, though. Good stuff. And one more peeping eye look just to see. Even in the Dawn of Sorrow, you got like the ability to switch out between a like set of souls kind of on the fly. It was one of the I think that was like a soul or an item you got fairly early on. Maybe that's here, but I don't really know exactly where I would go to use it or find it even. Ah, well. Like stuff so that you can have your like utility souls and your actual usable souls kind of separate from each other. Big ol' worms. Okay, what do you got? Rune ring? Sounds like something that I could probably use a little bit better. So far, a lot of these, I guess, I do need more MP after all. But stuff that increases like the rate at which MP is restored is pretty minimal. There's also the wooden golem soul that allegedly does the same thing, and I can't even really tell when it's doing that. Now, it doesn't do the kick down in water. Which, yeah, I know. Of course it doesn't, but still. I mean, I would have liked to have seen it anyway if... You know, if I went through the hard work of getting the kicker skeleton soul in the first place. Come on, give it to me. Let me have it. Alright. Triton down once again. Some sort of Little Mermaid reference that I can't think of right now. And I'll check this last area, see what's up. The bat definitely... I think that you were really supposed to explore this area like a little bit more before you go down into the arena, it seems. Ancient Book 3. Yeah, I already saw that first ancient book. I already saw the first ancient book all the way back in the study area that I needed the floor sliding ability to get to. And this would be the second one. From what I remember, that's something that probably is not going to become relevant in this episode. Will definitely become relevant in the next episode, though. These just two different slimes, I guess? They didn't really seem to be too different from each other. Triton not entirely underwater here, which is suspicious. Only slightly suspicious, though. How else do I get down there? Oh man, it looks like I'm gonna have to go all the way around. So, speed it up again. Alright, so what do we got over in this area now? I was kind of expecting more of like a waterfall type of deal, but I guess not. Well, anyway, this definitely seems like to get whatever that item was, and it did look like a gun. It did. I'm probably going to want to have the peeping eye equipped up to see what that is. If that is a gun, I mean, from what I remember, guns are not very powerful in the Castlevania series, but good stuff. Guns are not very powerful in the Castlevania series. However, they do have a very long range to them, which is going to be useful for some of the more annoying enemies to be fighting, I guess. Well, that's at least how I'm going to make this the sort of use case that they're going to be coming up here with, is what I'm thinking. Okay, and that just leads over there. Huh, so I guess I gotta go all the way down here, don't I? That's fine, I can make that happen. But first, definitely gonna want to save up right now. Been through an awful lot in this episode so far, and... like, I'm at least gonna check out the top floor before ending it, even though I have been recording for about an hour. I'm sure it's probably a lot of it that's going to be cut out... just based on the fact that I am going to be doing a lot of backtracking because of my lack of exploration at the very beginning here. Yeah, just directly to the right. There's some areas that I keep expecting to be very, very minimal in content that have way more than I thought. Oh yeah, there's a Mandragora guy again. I guess the second and probably easier to fight example of them, but, you know. Not that that matters too much for me. I already got the soul. Oh, that'll also help a lot, too. However, not for right now. Dryad who throws fruit at you. Sure, why not? And I think that's a poison worm, like literally. which, while a fun enemy, I'm not going to mess around with right now. And all the way at the top, you know there's going to be something. Well, there might be something, but I guess that's going to be where I need to go to get the... this is going to be where I need to go to get the gun, then. Which, I don't know if I can necessarily do that right now, even with, like, the... I'm going to have to find some way of getting past a waterfall. And if not that, some way of regenning up all of my mana, which is going to take some time. But for right now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grind up a bunch more souls and then right up to the top floor. Went back to the study to get that one book and then realized that there is an entirely new area down here. So I guess going to be finishing up the game a little bit more. Except, oh wait, no, I'm not. Well, there is also another area that you can see way on the bottom. I think it's called like the underground graveyard or something, which I guess I'm going to be skipping to right now because I'm betting that's probably the actual entrance to this place. Yes, right at the bottom of this shaft here, there was a door that I guess, well, an entrance that I guess I never went into. And although I did already walk in here once, I haven't really seen much past this first screen. Yeah, this bit of the game especially is the point where I'm like, I don't remember this too well. Some of the earlier bits like the Manticore and everything. Oh yeah, I do remember the very La Mulana like clay men walking around, but aside from that, I don't really know what was down here. I have no idea. I guess it's going to be a fun learning experience for everybody then. But yeah, nearly at 85%, getting up to 90% completion. No, it's not too much longer with the game, and with every one of the souls that I can possibly get gathered, I think I missed, what, one of them? Oh, Flame Demon, but that's the thing I just fought. Yeah, Ball, who only appears in one kind of out-of-the-way place over in the corner of the arena. I just decided, you know what, I'll find a better location for farming up that guy. I'm sure that somewhere a little bit in one of the unexplored areas there's going to be just one area that you basically walk in and out over and over to kill the enemy until it gives you the soul. I mean, basically a lot of the farming that I do is just, you know, go in here, like do something like that, or hit him a couple times with that, walk back out, respawn, blah, blah, blah. I actually managed to get very lucky with the Were-Jaguar, and the first time that I walked into this area exploring around was also the time that I got the soul from the Were-Jaguar. So, yeah. Good for me. Saves me some time later on. Strange that these guys aren't enemies. Well, another boss? Sure. Oh, of course they're not enemies because they're part of Legion. Another classic Symphony of the Night monster. Though in that game was called Grand Falloon for some reason. Because I guess, you know, the biblical story of Legion, way too confusing than the word Grand Falloon. Well, anyway, unlike Olorox, they did fix this one here. Even kept the kind of weird, trippy background from the PlayStation era as well. By the way, you like the giant axe? This is from the Red Minotaur in the arena. It's a pretty fun thing. Is that really it? That couldn't have possibly been it, right? No? Do I get it? There's the orb. So I guess it was. I'll admit I'm kind of disappointed. I suppose, yeah, like the Red Minotaur, that axe does pretty good damage, and you hit multiple parts of it to do... Huh. I don't know. Well, anyway, I didn't even get the soul from that? I guess I'll be seeing that again later, because... Yeah, usually from what I remember, the soul in this game is like a gigantic laser that you shoot out, which is pretty nice. It would be another, like, soul that I probably get a lot of usage out of. If it gave it to me. I don't know. I'm sure much like most of the other things, it's a huge mana hog, but there's ways to work around that. Ooh, gold ring. I think that increases the amount of money you get from... Yeah, it basically upgrades each one of the gold coins that you get. So like a $1 coin is going to turn into a 10, 10 into a 50, 50 into 100, so on and so forth. It is a good way to farm up money, but I don't necessarily need that for a bunch of anything yet. Probably eventually. And this, I don't remember what enemy dropped it, but the great thing about it is, despite not having like the highest attack power, it hits enemies multiple times. So it's been a pretty important part of farming for some time now. You know, I think I will actually equip up the gold ring. Kind of falling behind on getting all the new and cool stuff, but hey, a lot of the more important things, I'm talking, of course, showing off the souls, will be coming at the end of the episode. Or maybe, you know, I think what I'm actually going to do is I'll do a thing at the end of the series where I just go through every one of the souls and, I don't know, let's go like full-on meme-like and rank them all. F to triple S plus rank. Why not? Recognize places in which time has been stopped. I'm well aware of places in which time has been stopped. There's only one. So, I guess that's where I'm going to be using that. And this did not, in fact, lead up to... Huh. Yeah, this did not actually lead up to the forbidden area. I guess it's got to be, like, in the waterfall room that's directly above me right now. So, I'm gonna go back and see what's up with the White Rabbit, and see if I can't do something about that. Okay, places in which time has been stopped. Here, in other words. Chrono Mage. Sure, I guess that's not entirely inaccurate, given what he's doing, but it's pretty obviously a reference to, you know, Alice in Wonderland. Not that guy had much... I mean, the White Rabbit had a pocket watch, I suppose. Otherwise, I guess there's not too much. You know what? Forget what I just said. Strange paint job around here. Reminds me of Mario 64, how Peach's castle, for some reason, was painted... Like, what was the weird paint job they had in there? It was, like, to look like the sky or something? Kind of gaudy, Peach, I gotta say, but... You know, hey, it's her choice, isn't it? Yeah, come on. And I do think this is, in fact, the last of the 3 books that I need, then, right? Well, let's take a look, because I haven't actually showed off what any of them are just yet. Demon from the Hellfires. King of the Bats. I got that one right now. And Beautiful Nightmare, which I guess is just the horse one. So, and of course, if you notice that, yes, each one of them is colored like each one of the souls you get, to the red, blue, and the orange. Yellow? Yeah, yellow. So, for something, for a particular event that's going to be coming up here, I'll want to make sure that I have each one of those items equipped. In the meantime, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to go farm up the soul from the Chrono Mage if I want to go get into that forbidden area, right? Stopping time seems like it's something that is going to be useful for, say, getting past a waterfall that is far too fast for me to deal with as of right now. I got the soul. Let's see if this works. It doesn't? Oh, man, come on. What are you talking about? This is the exact sort of thing that should be... well, I guess that was kind of a bust. I'll have to figure this out a little bit later on. Maybe there will be something else coming up here that will actually do it, but that was... I don't know, that seemed like a good guess, right? It's an ability that stops time, and that's moving very quickly. So, you know, logically... I guess the other thing would be maybe some sort of... Well, maybe some sort of ability that I'll get up in the top floor. Maybe some sort of freezing ability. I don't know. There's a lot of potential things that could get rid of that particular issue. But for right now, nothing that I have, apparently. I could go back there and just try to, try out every single ability that I had, like I did with the Wrecking Ball earlier, or, try out every single thing I can possibly think of, but I don't know. I don't think that's going to really... That's going to be a good use of time, especially knowing that I already have a very obvious area that I need to get to right now. Gotta stop Graham, after all, before he fully absorbs the power of Dracula, and I don't know, just goes back to doing the whole evil Dracula thing, terrorizing landscapes and whatever. Oh no, it was not actually Mina the entire time. Which, I mean, would have been weird. But what would she even be doing in this part of the castle? Yeah, you can see it hits a whole bunch of times, which is nice, but not like the most effective type of weapon against some enemies. Very effective against some enemies, not very effective against others. In fact, I do think that just taking a quick bat journey around here... By the way, why is only part of this whole area on fire? I like that look. They should have continued on with it. Well, at least we get some goofy-looking dragons and demons in the background. Well, that one looks pretty goofy. It looks like the bad guy from, what is it, Ring Fit Adventure? I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's got that distinct look to it, right? Well, anyway, I'm going to assume, oh, thank God, that will help out a lot, but I feel like they have also maybe not been putting teleporters in, like, the most opportune areas that they possibly could. Oh, well. Why are you even fooling me? Not just Red Minotaur. I mean, there were a whole bunch of them over in the arena area that were pretty easy to farm up for the soul. Oh, I love Stolas. That's a classic Lesser Key of Solomon demon, and they translated its look very well into the game, I'll say that. It's still very goofy, though. Oh, Peeping Eye, still MVP, even after all this time. You know it. Gungnir, I think? Gungnir? Yes. Much like the spear of Ronginus. You know, Ron. Longinus' brother. Well, whatever. I'm still... Oh, cool. Yeah, it's supposed to be like a lightning spear, right? I suppose that makes sense. You know, I was just talking about translations earlier, and it's better. It's better. It's still a little bit, maybe a little bit, you know, called Final Guard, but I've seen plenty of other guards around here. Well, anyway, I should be dealing with this a little bit later. No reason for me to be messing around fighting these guys right now. Also went back to the beginning of the game, went over to Hammer's shop and bought a whole lot more healing items. So I'm just going to blow all the potions that I managed to collect up, because it's not like, you know, a full stack of 9 of those things is only getting me up to full health once. So I'm okay using that right now. I like its style, and I like the way that it attacks so many times. I don't know how good it really is, though. I'm sure this is also probably like element ability, which means that some things are going to be resistant to it, and that's just a whole annoying thing to do. It didn't take me too long to get the succubus ability before, but whenever I see one of those things that I am just getting, you know, in the midst of battle, I always feel kind of like, man, could have just got it here. I knew that Paul was going to have a much better area to be farming up, and I'm sure there's probably even more around here too. But as it is, I'm just kind of focused on getting to the end. It's so easy to dodge, but still screw it up anyway. Basilisk, which... Is this the one that I got the soul from before? I don't think so, but... It was definitely a character like this, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh yeah, I remember this guy. Iron Golem only does a single hit point of damage and has like 1,000 hit points. But that's why there's one extremely, extremely gimmicky soul that you need to use to defeat it. Oh, unless you really want to just... Cockatrice. I think Cockatrice and Basilisk are the ones. But yeah, there's one very gimmicky type of soul that is otherwise pretty much useless in most situations. Goes for fighting that guy. Sure, fine. Now that's what I want. Oh, goodbye to L. No. It said jump while in mid-air. Perform a high jump by pressing L in lid jump. Now, guys, I was just saying that you guys were doing a lot better, and you bring out lid jump. Oh, right. I'm trying to press left shift when I need to actually press A. Yes, this is the ability that I've been waiting the entire game for. Now I don't need to worry about having the bat around. I mean, oh, sure, it couldn't be useful in very specific circumstances, but for the most part, it's like just being able to do this constantly. Oh, man, look at it go. This is like 1,000 times more useful. Kaldbolg? Kaladbolg? No, I'm not even familiar with that one. But now with the Hippogriff Soul, just go right up here. To the classic final ascent to Dracula's throne. It always looks like that. One really, really gigantic, it's kind of tiny. One really, really gigantic ascent up a staircase. And why is the moon so flashy? Yeah, one really gigantic ascent up a staircase right in front of a giant clock tower like that. That's your classic Castlevania, baby. But first, I'll do a little bit of exploration around here. Kind of haven't really been doing my due diligence in terms of that anyway right now. This sort of thing is what I need, though. All right. I mean, the end of Dracula's Castle always has kind of a specific look to it. I still have Peeping Eye on? Yeah, okay. Always has the specific look to it, where it's like, you get the ascent up the staircase, and then there's like a little room right before the actual boss itself. And then usually you also can get stuff in the ceiling when you go up there. Like if I were to go up here right now. Not seeing anything, but maybe it's the next room. Usually it's the next room, but... Oh no, it's just you. Hey! All right, you're gonna kill me, I get it. Jeez. So, classic Dracula style, and these are all classic Dracula moves. I do believe you have to hit him in the head, right? Because that's always been the shtick, where it's like you can't just mash attack when it comes to fighting Dracula, because he's got a hitbox. You know, he's usually pretty tall. Graham instead decided to float around, but I guess it effectively means the same thing. All right, well, let's get something better. Red Minotaur is nice, but it's mostly against like a lot of enemies. Let's say, I don't know. There's a lot of good abilities I have right now to take him down, but I guess maybe just... makes you invisible before the enemy's eyes. See, or like temporary invincibility. Oh, what looks like temporary invincibility? This can probably be pretty good. Yeah. And I'm betting that this, you know, being a Sword of Darkness, probably doing a lot less damage due to the whole him being dark. Besides, this will also hit his face a lot better. Which this, you know, might, I mean, it does have like a red power glow and everything in its look, so it might also be, you know, darkness infused, but certainly it's doing more than enough damage. You guys gotta remember these weird meteor things. Even in the... I mean, this wasn't really an OG Dracula ability. He really just shot off like 3 fireballs. Usually that move. This is one of the more later ones that he got, but you can't hit these out of the air in the same way. This is a pretty cool looking boss. Gotta watch out though, because he's got the laser chandelier up there. I mean, it really only requires that you just, you know, this is, I think, is about the point in time that Red Minotaur is going to come in a little bit more useful. You really just got to make sure that you're ducking at the right time, but it does do quite a bit of damage, so... Oh, really? That was it? Really? That's not... You know, imagine what Genya's saying right now. Also, were you just sitting in that room the entire time, Genya? You could have came out here and helped me. I know it wasn't that difficult of a fight or anything, but still. So in other words, the whole thing about, like, sealing the castle was completely pointless. Yeah, well, good luck getting back there. So, of course, it should go without saying that this is the... Well, I mean, I guess it's not even really the bad ending, because everything worked out fine. Hey, there's Igarashi. Everything worked out fine, but it's not the true ending. I mean, the way there was a door right at the end of that, I got all of those books talking about, hey, use these souls in this fight, that sort of stuff. It's like, there's more to that. Well, I suppose it didn't say specifically use them in that fight, but where else would you use them? So I will be coming back for another episode and really finishing it up and you know, truly finishing Aria of Sorrow. But for right now, it's like, hey, we got credits. And I think that's a pretty satisfactory way to end this part, if nothing else. So next time, it's going to be a whole lot more cell grinding and maybe the true final.